to, or do we have to? No, not necessarily. And let's not even do that. We'll just say we're going to echo out the date, and again, we'll do the same thing that we did a second ago, where we did hour, minutes, and missed minutes and seconds. Okay, and to throw AM or PM on the end, Logan, what do we need to do?
Just put a lowercase a on it.
Right after the S, or another...
Depends on you can put a space in it. You can do whatever. Or
if I wanted to put a symbol in there, it would actually echo that symbol back out, right?
Unless that symbol meant something to it, but
well,
probably
yeah.
not.
Okay, so we just space and do like that right there?
Exactly.
And this will take care of AM and PM?
Yes. A is AM and PM, depending on the time.
And again, this is something we could just simply find for that function list, right?
I would also take the H to a lowercase h for 12-hour time. AM and PM means a
yeah,
lot more than 12-hour time.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll just finish this off like such. Again, I'm still going to terminate the line, and we will now jump back out. Okay? Look good?
Looks good.
So the whole idea is just to show you that, we start out regular HTML, we jump into PHP, we get back out of PHP, we're doing regular HTML again, regular HTML, everything's going great, then boom, we just hop right back into it. Now, again, we're sending information off, parsers calculating, sending information back to the browser.
So make sure you use terminators when you're using PHP.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about terminators in just a second. So let's go ahead and save that out. Let's open this back up. Let's do a refresh. Okay, I'm now not in a script. Did you know that the time was blah, 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 and it is PM? Hey, it's 7:32 at night. Man, time just goes by like crazy. Whoa. Everybody looks at their watch all at the same time.
Really?
That was pretty interesting. Okay, so we see everything is working good.
Right.
All right. Now, there are a bunch of different functions out there that are very useful. One more that I want to go ahead and show you real quick is, what if you wanted to get somebody's IP address that actually requested a page from your server? I could come in here and say, did you know that your IP address was space? And again, what am I going to need to do?
Pop back into PHP.
Okay, so I'll just do less than question mark.
Right.
Echo out. Okay, and what do we want to echo? There is a function called get_env, get environment, and so we'll just say get_env.
That's gen.
And our generate from get, don't say that. And what we want to do is we're going to feed it remote and ADDR and close that off. This, and we'll close out again. Now, probably missing some line returns in there, some breaks, some new lines. Maybe, yes. Where do you want to put one? Kristen? Anybody?
You can put one at the end of that, did you know what the time was?
So,
or you can put one at the beginning of that one, couldn't you?
Could I just, right here, come in here and do one right there?
Yeah.
Okay. So, again, what we're doing, getting an environment variable, which we'll talk more about those a little bit later, and we're feeding it remote address. Okay. It's the web server is going to say, all right, what I want to do is, or the PHP parser is going to say, what I want to do is get the remote address from this remote guy that's requesting this document. Okay, so it's going to get his IP address. Okay. So we'll come back in here and we'll save. And in this case right here, we're running it on a local machine. So what should we see, Logan?
Our own IP.
Our own IP
or the loop.
Or the loop back?
Yeah, the loop back.
So come back in here, do a refresh, and there you go with the 127.0.0.1. Okay.
You don't have to answer this if this is actually more complicated than I'm thinking, but is there like a function that will get you like how many times your page has been viewed? You know, like how some like web pages have those little counters on it, or is that difficult? I mean, is that more than just a function?
Compared to this, that's difficult.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know if you could just be like page count and then be like, I didn't know if that was like an actual function you could just put in there.
How is it going to know? What happens to everything after it's been generated? It's not storing anywhere. It's just running once.
Well, the Apache log, of course, is storing, but...
Well, yeah, but...
Now we're going to make it even more complicated.
So maybe some random hacker who's really just like, might know that your page has been viewed. It has to have that value stored somewhere.
Okay.
You see what is he getting at? Tell me.
Yeah, it's got to be like, it's got to refresh, doesn't it? Like,
well, what he's saying is when somebody asks to see this page and the server says, here you go, give it to you, the server now needs to mark that down somewhere that they've just sent out one. Then the next time around, the server gives a page out to another person he needs to mark down. That's two. Okay, so that if you said, how many times was my page viewed, then the server could say, oh, 1, 2. 2 times. But there, right now we've got to actually store that information somewhere. And you know what? Might as well, over the course of the VTMs, we'll just write a simple counter to keep track of how many times the page has been viewed. It's actually very easy.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's just for right now, it's definitely way out of
Okay.
line for this. So, anyways, there you go. Now we've shown IP address. Still nothing all that bad, would you say?
No.
Finally, let's go back into the script real quick one last time. White space. Logan, if I take this right here and do a carriage return like that and tab this over, is that still going to run fine?
Yes. Yes, it will.
So I could come down here and make this whole thing look really messy and do stuff like this, right? Not saying that this is something that you would want to do, but this is completely fine, right?
Right.
Remember a few minutes ago when we were talking about terminators briefly, and I said we'll come back to them. I want to talk just a little bit more.
Right.
The reason that the terminators are so critical is because white space is ignored by the parser. In other words, I can come in here and I can do spaces like that.
They don't mean a thing, right?
Any effect, Logan?
None
We
whatsoever.
messing anything up? Nope. Basically, it comes in and sees the echo command. There's a space, okay, so it knows that that's the echo command. And that's just going to start ignoring spaces. It's going to ignore any of your line returns. It's going to ignore everything until it gets to some other character other than space or your line return. And then it's going to start processing again. Is this some sort of string? Is this a variable? Is this something else that we're actually going to output? Okay. Because of this method, because of having these terminators and being able to use white space, the advantage that you're going to see out of this is going to be the ability of writing code that's very readable. So in other words, later on when you start learning how to do commands that with arguments and everything tied onto it end up being extremely long and go off your screen, you can break that up so it all fits nice and neatly, in one section. You agree with that over there, Logan?
Yes, I use that a lot.
It helps make things a lot
Yes, it does.
easier to read. So I just wanted to point that out now because later on I'm sure I'll be saying, all right, we're just going to break this up into multiple lines so that it's easy for us to read, or since we've got such a small and limited space right here, all right, and we don't want to have a whole lot of stuff going off the screen where we're scrolling back and forth, and I'll probably just throw in real quick, remember that's the usefulness of a terminator and white space, okay? So this is really all I wanted to talk about in this lesson, just enough to get you up and running with a simple HTML page, and that's what we've got here. Show you how we can go into PHP and exit out of PHP using the PHP tags. I've shown you there's several different methods we can do. This is one way using a less than question mark PHP. A shortened method is just less than question mark, and there is yet another method too. Let's not talk about it on this one. Does that sound fair, Logan?
Yes.
We'll just keep this nice and simple. And we showed you how to use a basic command. We've been using the echo command. Then we also talked very briefly about functions being built-in procedures inside of PHP that you can call upon to handle some sort of task. It'll take information in, like we're sending information here, to the date function. It's going to work on that and send information back to you. All right, and that's pretty much it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very informative.
Anything you want to add to that, Logan? Or
No, that's good.
all right, so with that ends this section. Thanks, guys.